ex tried to gaslight me into thinking our breakup never happened. I knew something was seriously wrong when my ex showed up at my apartment with takeout and acted like we were still together. No warning, no text, no "can we talk?" Just her knocking like it was any normal Friday date night and calling me babe, in that voice she only used when she was trying to get her way. We'd broken up 3 months earlier in public after she threw my phone during an argument, and I told her I couldn't do it anymore. I moved apartments, changed routines, cut all forms of communication with her. But from time to time her IG stories would pop up and I would literally see her post single-era selfies. But she stood in my doorway acting like none of that happened, insisting we never broke up, and crying like she was worried about me. And I was even starting to think something was wrong with me and maybe I had lost my memory. That moment kicked off the most confusing, manipulative, and honestly ridiculous stretch of my life, where every time I tried to pull away she escalated. And when I finally thought I had her out of my life for good, that is when I found out what was actually going on. So let me back up a little bit. The breakup itself was pretty clear. We were at this coffee shop near her place, and I'd asked her to meet me because I needed to talk about some stuff that had been bothering me for weeks. She was on her phone the whole time, barely looking at me, and when I brought up how distant she'd been lately, she just shrugged and said I was being dramatic. Then I mentioned seeing her at a bar with some guy I didn't know, and that is when she lost it. She grabbed my phone off the table and threw it across the room. It hit the wall and the screen just shattered into like a spiderweb pattern. Everyone in the place went silent and stared at us. I stood up, told her we were done, and walked out. She followed me outside screaming that I was overreacting, but I just kept walking. That was it. No dramatic speech, no back and forth. I was just done. The next day I blocked her on everything except email because we still had some shared bills to sort out. I moved to a new apartment 2 weeks later, didn't tell her where, and started going to a different gym and coffee shop. For the first month, she sent me a few emails trying to talk things through, but I ignored them. Then the emails stopped, and I figured she'd finally moved on. I even saw through a mutual friend's story that she was posting these selfies with captions like, "Thriving in my single era and focusing on me now." So yeah, I thought it was over. 3 months pass. I am settling into my new routine. Feeling pretty good, actually. And then one Friday night around 7, there's a knock on my door. I open it, and there she is, holding a bag of Thai food from the place we used to order from all the time. She is smiling at me like nothing's wrong. "Hey babe, I got your favorite," she says, walking right past me into my apartment like she owns the place. I am standing there with the door still open, completely frozen, trying to process what is happening. "What are you doing here?" I finally ask. She turns around and gives me this confused look, like I'm the one acting weird. "What do you mean?" "It is Friday. We always do takeout on Fridays." My brain actually stalled for a second. "We broke up," I say, slowly, like I am explaining something to a child. She laughs. Not a nervous laugh, but like I just told her a joke. "No, we didn't. What are you talking about?" I blink at her. "Yes, we did. 3 months ago, you threw my phone in that coffee shop." She sits the food down on my counter and walks over to me with this concerned expression. "Babe, I think you are confused. That never happened." Now I am starting to get angry because this is absolutely insane. I moved apartments. I blocked you. I literally haven't spoken to you in 3 months. She reaches out and touches my arm. "You've been really stressed lately. I'm worried about you. Maybe you are mixing things up." That is when I realized she was actually serious. She genuinely seemed to believe what she was saying, or at least she was really committed to pretending. I pulled my arm away. "You need to leave right now." Her face changed instantly, and she started tearing up. "Why are you being like this? Did I do something wrong?" I pointed at the door. "We're not together. We haven't been together. You can't just show up here." She started crying harder, saying she didn't understand what was happening, asking if I was seeing someone else, telling me she loved me. It was exhausting. I basically had to guide her to the door and close it while she was still talking. I locked it and stood there for a minute just trying to figure out what the hell that was. Part of me wondered if maybe she'd had some kind of breakdown. but the logical part of my brain knew she was just messing with me. The next morning I wake up to a text from my coworker asking if everything's okay with me and my girlfriend. I don't respond right away because I am confused about why he is even asking. Then at work he pulls me aside and says she came by the office yesterday looking for me. She seemed really worried about you, man, said you've been acting strange lately. My stomach drops. We're not together, I tell him. He looks surprised. Oh, she made it sound like you guys were just going through a rough patch. I explain the whole situation, the breakup, the block numbers, everything. He believes me, but I can tell he is weirded out by the whole thing. Over the next 2 weeks, it gets worse. She starts showing up at places she knows I go. The gym, the grocery store near my place, even the bar where I meet my friends on weekends. Every time she acts like we're still together. She'll walk up and kiss me on the cheek or grab my hand, and when I pull away, she looks hurt and confused. My friends start asking questions because she is telling them we're working through some things. One of them, my buddy Mike, actually pulls me aside and asks if I am being too hard on her. She seems really genuine, man. Maybe you should just talk to her. I am furious at this point. We broke up. She is lying to you. But I can see the doubt in his eyes. She is good at this. Really good. She cries at the right moments, says the right things, and makes me look like the unstable one. I start documenting everything. Screenshots of old texts showing the breakup, emails, anything I can use to prove I am not crazy. And one night I am at a bar with some friends and this guy walks up to me. He is tall, probably early 30s, and he looks pissed. Are you the ex who won't leave her alone? He asks. I stare at him. What? He crosses his arms. She told me about you. Said you keep showing up at her place and texting her even though she has moved on. My brain is doing backflips trying to keep up. Who are you? I ask. Her boyfriend, he says, and I can see he is ready to fight if I give him a reason. I hold up my hands. Okay, listen. I think we need to talk because something really messed up is going on. He doesn't look convinced, but I pull out my phone and start showing him messages. I show him the breakup text from 3 months ago, the emails, the screenshots of her showing up at my apartment. His face changes as he scrolls through everything. She told me you guys broke up 6 months ago, he says quietly. She's been with me for 5 months. The math isn't mailing. We sit down and compare timelines. Turns out she'd been dating him before we broke up. He shows me pictures of them together from 4 months into my relationship with her. My head is spinning, so she was cheating on me with you, I say. He looks sick, and apparently still trying to keep you around after you dumped her. We spend the next hour piecing together her lies. She told him I was a crazy ex who couldn't let go. She told our mutual friends we were working things out. She told me we never broke up. Every story was different depending on who she was talking to. Why would she do this? He asks. And honestly, I don't have an answer yet. But then it clicks. She didn't want me back because she loved me. She wanted the situation back. The thrill of juggling 2 guys, the power of controlling multiple narratives, the attention from both of us. When I dumped her, I didn't just end a relationship, I ended her game. And she couldn't handle that. We need to confront her, he says, and I agree. We exchange numbers and plan to meet up with her together the next day. The next afternoon, we arrange to meet her at a park. She thinks she is meeting him for a regular date. When she sees me walking up with him, her face goes completely white. What is going on? She asks, trying to smile, but it is shaky. We compared notes, I say flatly. She looks between us, and I can literally see her brain working overtime trying to figure out what story to tell. This isn't what it looks like, she starts, but he cuts her off. When did you and him break up? He asks her directly. She hesitates. 6 months ago, I told you that. I pull out my phone and show her the screen. This is a text you sent me 4 months ago saying you loved me. Her mouth opens, but nothing comes out. He pulls out his phone. And this is a picture of us from 5 months ago, which would have been 1 month into his relationship with you. She is trapped, and she knows it. You don't understand, she says, and her voice is rising. I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted. So you lied to everyone? I ask. You cheated on me. I dumped you. And then you tried to gaslight me into thinking we never broke up. She starts crying, but this time it feels different. Not manipulative, just desperate. I didn't want to lose you, she says to me. You already did, I snap back. 3 months ago, when I walked out of that coffee shop. Then what was all this? He asks, gesturing between the three of us. She doesn't answer. You liked it, I say, and her head snaps up to look at me. You liked having both of us. You liked the game. And when I ended it, you couldn't handle not being in control anymore. Her face crumples. That is not true, but we both know it is. He shakes his head and looks at her like he doesn't even know who she is. We're done, he says simply. She reaches for his arm, but he steps back. Don't contact me again. He walks away and she turns to me with this pleading look. Please, can we just talk about this? There's nothing to talk about. I tell her, you lied to me, you cheated on me, and then you tried to make me think I was losing my mind. Stay away from me. Stay away from my work. Stay away from my friends. I start to leave, but she grabs my wrist. I am sorry, she whispers. I pull my hand away. You are not sorry you did it. You're sorry you got caught. And I walk away. That should have been the end of it, but she didn't stop. Over the next week, she keeps trying to contact me through different numbers and fake social media accounts. She shows up at my apartment twice more, and the second time my neighbor has to threaten to call the cops before she leaves. She even goes to my workplace again, and this time my boss has to escort her out. That is when I decide I am done playing nice. I gather every piece of evidence I have, every text, every email, every witness statement from friends who saw her harassment. I file a police report and request a restraining order. The hearing is quick. She tries to argue that we're just going through a breakup and I am overreacting, but the judge looks at the evidence, looks at her, and grants the order immediately. You are not to contact him, approach him, or come within 100 yards of his home or workplace. The judge says. She starts crying again, but this time nobody cares. A few days later, I hear through Mike that she got fired from her job. Apparently, she'd been using work hours to stalk me, and her boss finally had enough. And the social fallout starts. The other guy, it turns out his name is Derek. He posts about the whole situation on his social media. Doesn't name her directly, but everyone who knows her can figure it out. Our mutual friends start reaching out to me apologizing for doubting me. One of them, Sarah, sends me a long message saying she feels terrible for believing her manipulation. She was so convincing. Sarah writes, I really thought you were the one being unreasonable. I appreciate the apology, but it also pisses me off that it took Derek and me literally presenting evidence like a court case for people to believe me. Within 2 weeks, her entire social circle has basically collapsed. People stop inviting her to things, stop responding to her messages, and from what I hear, she has basically isolated herself. Part of me feels bad for like half a second. But then I remember her standing in my apartment, insisting we never broke up while I questioned my own sanity. So yeah, the guilt doesn't last long. A month after the restraining order, I get an email from a number I don't recognize. It is her, using someone else's email to try to get around the order. The message is long and rambling, talking about how sorry she is and how she is getting help now. She says she understands why I hate her, and she doesn't expect forgiveness. But then at the end, she asks if we can eventually be friends. I screenshot the email and send it to my lawyer. He forwards it to the police, and she gets a warning that violating the restraining order again will result in arrest. After that, the messages finally stop. I don't hear from her again. No more showing up at places, no more fake accounts, nothing. It is quiet, and honestly, it is the best thing that has happened in months. Derek and I actually became friends through this whole mess. We meet up for drinks sometimes and joke about how we survived the same disaster. She really had us both fooled, he says one night. Not fooled, I corrected. Manipulated. There is a difference. He nods. Yeah, you are right. We talk about the red flags we missed, the lies we believed, and how easy it is to lose yourself in someone else's version of reality when they're determined enough. You think she actually believed it, he asks, that you guys never broke up? I think about it. No, I say finally. I think she just wanted us to believe it, and when that didn't work, she wanted to believe it herself so she didn't have to face what she'd done. He takes a sip of his beer. That is pretty messed up. Yeah, I agree. It really is. Looking back on it now, the whole thing feels surreal, like it happened to someone else. But the lessons stuck with me. I learned that manipulation doesn't always look like obvious lies. Sometimes it looks like concern or love or confusion. Sometimes the most dangerous thing someone can do is make you doubt your own reality. And I learned that walking away is only the first step, because some people won't let you leave. And when that happens, you have to be willing to fight for your own peace, even if that means restraining orders, cutting off mutual friends, or documenting every single interaction like you are building a legal case. Because you are building a case for your own sanity. My life is better now. I am dating someone new, someone who respects boundaries and doesn't play games. My friends trust me again, and I trust myself again. The whole experience left me more cautious, maybe a little more skeptical of people's intentions. But it also made me realize how strong I actually am, because I didn't let her rewrite history. I stood my ground even when people doubted me, even when she made me feel crazy. And in the end, the truth came out exactly like I knew it would. Sometimes the best revenge isn't some elaborate plan. It is just refusing to participate in someone else's lies. It is choosing reality over their fantasy, and watching their whole manipulative house of cards collapse because you wouldn't help them hold it up. So if you are reading this and you are dealing with someone who is trying to gaslight you, trying to make you question what you know happened, trust yourself, document everything, and don't be afraid to walk away even if they try to follow, because your peace of mind is worth more than their need for control. And eventually, if you stand firm enough, they'll move on to someone else, or they'll face the consequences of their actions. Either way, you'll be free, and that is worth everything. My girlfriend faked a pregnancy for 6 months and tried to sue me when I called her bluff. I didn't think anyone would actually do this. Like, I've heard the stories online, but you never think it'll happen to you. She had fake ultrasound pictures, a whole story about symptoms and cravings, and she even started telling people I was a deadbeat. The whole thing fell apart in front of a judge when she couldn't produce a single real medical document. We'd been dating for about a year when she told me she was pregnant. I was 19, she was 21, and honestly, our relationship was already pretty rocky. We fought a lot. She got jealous over everything. I couldn't hang out with friends without her blowing up my phone. But when she told me about the pregnancy, I tried to step up. I was scared, but I figured that is what you do. She told me one night after we'd had another stupid argument about me going to my friend's house. I came back to her place and she was sitting on the couch with this serious look on her face. "We need to talk," she said. I sat down next to her, already tired. "What is wrong now? I'm pregnant." I just stared at her for a second. My brain kind of stopped working. What? I took 3 tests. They're all positive. I'm pregnant. I didn't know what to say. I felt like the room was spinning. "Are you sure?" "Yes, I'm sure." "Well, you don't believe me." "No, when did you find out?" "Yesterday." "I was waiting to tell you in person." I remember my hands shaking. I asked her if she'd been to a doctor yet, and she said no, but she was going to make an appointment soon. I told her I wanted to go with her. She said okay. The first red flag was when she kept canceling or rescheduling that appointment. Every time I asked about it, she had some excuse. The clinic was booked. She didn't like the doctor. She felt too sick to go. It went on for weeks. "Did you reschedule the appointment?" I asked her one day while we were at her place. "Yeah, but they can't get me in until next month." "Next month? That seems really far away. Can't you go somewhere else?" She got defensive immediately. "Why are you pushing this so hard?" I said I made an appointment. "I'm not pushing, I just want to make sure you are okay. And the baby, I am fine. Stop stressing me out. Stress is bad for the baby." That became her go-to line whenever I asked questions. "Stress is bad for the baby. Don't stress me out. You are making this harder." I started to feel like I was walking on eggshells, but I told myself she was just hormonal or scared. She started posting about the pregnancy on social media. Little hints at first, then full-on announcements. Her friends and family were commenting, congratulating her. My family found out through Facebook before I even had a chance to tell them myself. My mom called me freaking out, and I had to explain the whole situation while feeling completely lost. "Why didn't you tell us?" my mom asked. "I was going to. I just wanted to wait until we went to the doctor and everything was confirmed. She is posting about it online and you haven't even been to a doctor yet. She keeps rescheduling. I don't know, Mom. I am trying. My mom didn't say it directly, but I could hear the doubt in her voice. She told me to be careful and to make sure I was there for the appointment. I promised I would be. The story started changing around the 3rd month at first. She said she was 8 weeks along. Then she said 6 weeks. Then she told someone else she was 3 months. I noticed because her friends would ask me about it, and the dates never matched what she told me. Hey, congrats, man. One of her friends said to me at a party. She said she is almost done with the first trimester, right? Yeah, I think so. But the math didn't add up. I had been keeping track in my head, and based on when she first told me, she should have been closer to 2 months, not 3. When I asked her about it later, she got mad. Why are you keeping track like that? That is weird. I am not trying to be weird. I am just confused. You told me one thing and then you told your friends something else. I don't remember exactly what I said. Maybe I was talking about a different date. Why does it matter? I want to know what is going on. I want to be involved. You are here, aren't you? Stop interrogating me. I dropped it, but the feeling in my gut got worse. She also started talking about symptoms that didn't make sense. She'd tell me she was throwing up every morning, but I'd stay over and never see it happen. She said she had cravings for pickles and ice cream. When I brought them to her, she barely touched them. She claimed she couldn't eat certain foods because they made her nauseous, but then I'd catch her eating those exact foods the next day. I thought she said chicken made you sick. I said once when she was eating a chicken sandwich. It did yesterday. Today it is fine. Cravings change. That fast. Yes, that fast. God, why are you questioning everything I say? I wasn't trying to be an ass. I just wanted things to make sense. Around month 4, she started pushing me to move in with her and her mom. She said it would save money and make things easier when the baby came. I didn't want to. Her mom didn't like me, and I knew living there would be a nightmare, but she wouldn't let it go. You're not taking this seriously, she said one night. I am taking it seriously. I just don't think moving in with your mom is the right move. Why not? You don't want to be around for your own kid. That is not what I said. I just think we should get our own place if we're going to live together. We can't afford that. You know we can't. You are being selfish. The more I pushed back, the more she accused me of not caring. She started telling people I was being distant, that I wasn't stepping up, that I was a bad boyfriend. Her friends gave me dirty looks when I saw them. Her mom called me once and yelled at me for 10 minutes about abandoning her daughter. I felt like I was losing my mind. I was trying to do everything right, but nothing I did was ever enough. Then I saw the text messages. She left her phone on the couch one day while she was in the bathroom. It buzzed, and I glanced over without thinking. The message preview showed a text from her best friend. Did he agree to move in yet? I shouldn't have, but I picked up the phone and opened it. I know that is bad, but at that point, I didn't care. I needed to know what was going on. The conversation made my stomach drop. Her friend had asked if she was really pregnant, and my ex had replied, "No, but he doesn't know that low. I am going to trap him so he stops playing games." There were other messages too, talking about how she downloaded fake ultrasound pictures from Google, how she'd been lying about doctor's appointments because there weren't any, how she thought if she could just get me to move in, she could make it real later, figure something out. I sat there staring at the screen, trying to process what I was reading. I felt sick. I felt angry. I felt stupid. When she came back from the bathroom, I was still holding her phone. "What are you doing?" she asked, her voice sharp. Her face went pale. "What are you talking about?" I saw the messages. "You are not pregnant. You've been lying this whole time." She tried to grab the phone from me, but I stood up and stepped back. "Give me my phone. Answer me. Are you pregnant or not?" "Of course I am pregnant." "You are crazy. Then why does this text say you are not? Why does this text say you are not? Why does it say you're trying to trap me?" Not real crying, but that fake kind where someone's trying to manipulate you. "You are twisting everything. You don't understand?" "I understand perfectly. You've been lying to me for months. You made me think I was going to be a dad. You told everyone I was a deadbeat when I've been trying to do everything right. I wasn't lying. I thought I was pregnant at first. Then I found out I wasn't. But I didn't know how to tell you. Bullshit. These messages are from last week. You've been planning this the whole time." She kept trying to explain, kept trying to make excuses, but I didn't want to hear it. I told her we were done. I walked out of her place and didn't look back. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. A week later, I got a court summons. She'd filed for a protective order, claiming I'd threatened her and abandoned her while she was pregnant. She was also demanding child support. I couldn't believe it. She was doubling down on the lie, taking it to court, dragging me through the system because I'd called her out. My mom helped me find a lawyer. He told me to bring any evidence I had, screenshots, messages, anything that proved she was lying. I didn't have much, but I had those text messages I'd seen on her phone. I'd taken pictures of them with my own phone before I left that day. The court date came faster than I expected. I was nervous as hell. My lawyer kept telling me to stay calm, that the truth would come out. She showed up with her mom in a folder full of papers. She looked confident, like she thought she was going to win. Her mom glared at me the whole time. When the judge called us up, my ex started talking first. She said I'd been emotionally abusive, that I'd threatened to leave her while she was pregnant, that I'd refused to support her. She pulled out printed ultrasound pictures and tried to hand them to the judge. The judge looked at them, then looked at her. Are these from a doctor's office? Yes, she said. Which doctor? She hesitated. I don't remember the name. It was a clinic. Do you have any medical records? Documentation from a healthcare provider. I have the ultrasound. This isn't signed by a physician. Do you have anything official? She started stumbling over her words. I didn't think I needed to bring that. The judge wasn't having it. You were filing for child support and claiming pregnancy-related distress, but you don't have any medical documentation. My lawyer stood up and handed over the screenshots I'd taken. Your Honor, the defendant has text messages where the plaintiff admits to faking the pregnancy. The judge looked at the messages. The room was dead silent. I could feel my ex staring at me, but I didn't look at her. Is this your phone number? The judge asked her. She didn't answer right away. Her mom whispered something to her, but she just sat there. Ma'am, I asked you a question. Yes, she finally said, barely audible. The judge leaned back in his chair. So you fabricated a pregnancy, filed false claims in this court, and wasted everyone's time. It is not like that. It is exactly like that. This case is dismissed. You're also being fined for filing a false report, and you'll be responsible for the defendant's legal fees. Her face crumpled. Her mom started yelling, saying the judge was being unfair, that I'd manipulated the situation. Security had to step in and tell them to calm down. I just stood there, barely believing it was over. Outside the courtroom, she tried to talk to me. Her mom was still yelling, but my ex grabbed my arm as I was walking to my car. Can we just talk for a second? She said. I pulled my arm away. Number, we're done. Don't ever contact me again. It wasn't supposed to go like this. I didn't want to lose you. You didn't lose me. You lied to me. You tried to ruin my life. It wasn't really a lie. I mean, at first I thought, just stop. I don't care anymore. Her mom came up behind her, still going off about how I was the bad guy, how I'd broken her daughter's heart. I didn't even respond. I got in my car and drove away. The fallout lasted a while. People who'd believed her story started reaching out to me, apologizing, asking what really happened. I didn't give them details. I just said it was handled and left it at that. My mom was relieved. My friends were pissed on my behalf. One of them wanted to blast her on social media, but I told him not to. I just wanted to be over. She deleted all her pregnancy posts a few days later. She didn't apologize publicly, didn't admit what she'd done. She just erased it like it never happened and moved on. Some of her friends still gave me dirty looks when I saw them around town, like I was the one who'd done something wrong. I heard through mutual friends that she tried to say her mom pressured her into it, that she'd been confused and scared. I don't know if anyone believed her. I didn't care enough to find out. The whole thing messed me up for a while. I didn't trust people the same way after that. I kept thinking about how close I came to being trapped, how she would have kept lying if I hadn't seen those messages. If I had moved in with her and her mom, if I'd kept believing her, I don't know where I'd be right now. Looking back, there were so many signs. The canceled appointments, the changing stories, the way she got defensive every time I asked a simple question. But when you are in it, when someone's looking you in the eye and swearing they're telling the truth, it is hard to see through the lies. I think about the fake ultrasound pictures she printed out, the posts she made on social media, letting everyone congratulate her. The way she called me a deadbeat to anyone who would listen, she built this whole story, this whole fake version of reality, just to keep me around. And when I called her out, she didn't back down. She doubled down and tried to take me to court. The scariest part is she was willing to go. If the judge had believed her, if I hadn't taken those screenshots, I could have ended up paying child support for a kid that didn't exist. I could have had a record. My entire life could have been ruined over a lie. I don't talk to her anymore. I blocked her anymore. I blocked her on everything. I avoid places I know she goes. The few times I've seen her from a distance, I just keep walking. There is nothing left to say. Her mom tried to reach out to me once through Facebook, saying I owed her daughter an apology for humiliating. I deleted the message without responding. I don't owe her anything. Some of my friends asked me if I was going to press charges for what she did. My lawyer said I could, but I didn't want to. I just wanted to move on. The fine and the legal fees were enough. She'd have to deal with that on her own. I did hear that she got into some trouble at her job because word got around about what happened. I didn't feel bad about it. She brought it on herself. It has been almost a year since the court date. I am in a better place. I am still careful about who I date, still a little guarded, but I am working on it. My mom keeps telling me not to let one bad experience ruin my trust in people completely. She's probably right. I think about how different my life would be if I believed her all the way through, if I'd moved in with her, if I'd signed whatever papers she wanted me to sign, if I hadn't seen those messages on her phone. It makes me feel sick just thinking about it. I also think about that she was 21 when she did this. She was an adult who made a choice to lie to me, to her family, to everyone. She made a choice to fake a pregnancy and try to trap me. And when that didn't work, she made a choice to drag me to court and keep lying. That is the part that still gets me. She could have stopped at any point. When I broke up with her, she could have just let me go. But she didn't. She wanted to punish me for not falling for it. I don't know what she is doing now. I don't care. I hope she got help, but I'm not holding my breath. People like that don't usually change unless they're forced to face what they've done. And even then, it is rare. I still get anxious sometimes when I think about the whole thing. I'll be hanging out with friends, having a good time, and then something will remind me of her and I'll just shut down for a minute. My friends know not to push it when that happens. They've been good about giving me space. One of my buddies told me he went through something similar a few years ago. Not a fake pregnancy, but a girl who lied about a bunch of stuff to keep him around. He said it took him a long time to trust anyone again, and it made me feel a little less alone, I guess. I don't regret breaking up with her. I don't regret standing up for myself in court. I don't regret taking those screenshots. If I hadn't, I'd probably still be stuck in that mess or worse, paying for a kid that didn't exist. The one thing I do regret is not seeing it sooner, not trusting my gut when things didn't add up. I kept making excuses for her, kept telling myself I was overthinking, kept trying to be the good guy, and she used that against me. I learned a hard lesson from all this. People can lie to your face and make you feel crazy for doubting them. They can build entire fake stories and get other people to believe them. And if you are not careful, they can trap you in a nightmare that is almost impossible to escape. When I got out, I ran into one of her friends a few months ago at a gas station. She didn't say anything to me, but I could see her staring. She pulled out her phone and started texting someone. I'm guessing it was my ex. I paid for my gas and left before anything could happen. My mom asked me if I'd ever consider dating again. I told her, yeah, eventually. Just not anytime soon. I need more time to get my head straight. She understood it somewhat, but because I was falling apart or anything. Someone who could help me process everything without judgment. It helped. I only went for a couple months, but it was enough to get me thinking clearly again. One thing the therapist told me stuck with me. She said that people who lie like that, who go to those extremes, usually have deeper issues that have nothing to do with you. It is not about you being a bad person or doing something wrong. It is about them trying to control something in their life because they feel powerless. That made sense to me, but it didn't make what she did okay. It just helped me understand that it wasn't my fault. Was she ever think it was my fault? If she feels bad about it, if she has told anyone the truth, probably not. People like that usually rewrite history in their heads, so they're always the victim. She probably tells people I was the liar, that I manipulated the situation, that I am the reason she is messed up now. I wouldn't be surprised. The weirdest part of the whole thing is how normal life feels now. For a while, it was all I could think about. Every conversation, every quiet moment, it was just replaying in my head. But now Days go by while I don't date at all. I go to work, hang out with friends, visit my family, and it is like it happened to a different version of me. But then something small will remind me. I'll see a pregnant woman at the store, I'll get this weird feeling in my chest. Or I'll hear someone talk about court, and I'll remember sitting in that room watching her lie to a judge's face. It is getting easier though. The reminders don't hit as hard as they used to. One of the things that helped me move on was realizing how many people had my back when it all went down. My mom, my friends, even my lawyer. They all believed me when it would have been easy to doubt. They didn't question whether I was telling the truth. They just stepped up and supported me. That meant more than I can put into words. I made sure to thank them after everything was over. Took my mom out to dinner, bought my friends around at the bar, wrote my lawyer a good review online. Small things, but I wanted them to know I appreciated it. There is a part of me that still feels embarrassed about the whole thing. Not because I did anything wrong, but because I fell for it in the first place. I keep thinking about how I believed her for months. How I defended her to my friends when they said something seemed off. How I almost moved in with her and her mom. It makes me feel stupid even though I know I shouldn't. My mom told me to stop being so hard on myself. She said anyone in my position would have done the same thing. That helped a little, but I still cringe when I think about it. I also think about the other people she lied to. Her friends, her family, everyone on social media. They all believed her too. I wonder if they ever found out the truth, or if she managed to spin it in a way that made her look innocent. I'll probably never know. I saw her mom at the grocery store once, a few months after the court date. She saw me too. We made eye contact for a second, and I could see the anger on her face. She didn't say anything, just turned and walked the other way. I was relieved. I didn't want another confrontation. I think her mom genuinely believed the pregnancy was real. I think my ex lied to her too, or at least let her believe it. That is messed up in its own way, using your own mom as part of the lie. But I guess when you are that deep into something, you'll do whatever it takes to keep it going. I've thought about writing this all down before, just to get it out of my head, but I never did until now. It feels good to put it into words, to explain what happened from start to finish. Maybe someone else will read this and realize they're in a similar situation. Maybe it'll help them see the signs before it is too late. If there's one thing I'd want people to take away from this, it is that you should trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't let anyone make you feel crazy for asking questions. Don't let anyone guilt you into ignoring the red flags. And don't be afraid to walk away, even if it is hard. I almost didn't walk away. I almost didn't walk away. I almost stayed because I thought it was the right thing to do. I am so glad I didn't. I am so glad I saw those messages. I am so glad I got out when I did. Because if I hadn't, that is the scariest part of all. Life's been quiet since then. I moved to a different part of town so I wouldn't run into her as much. I got a better job. I started hanging out with my friends more. I even went on a couple dates though. Nothing serious yet. I am not in a rush. I still think about the court date sometimes. The look on her face when the judge called her out. The way her mom tried to defend her even when it was obvious she was lying. The relief I felt when it was finally over. It was one of the best, but also one of the best because it was the day I got my life back. I don't hate her. I don't wish bad things on her. I just don't think about her anymore. She is a part of my past, and that is where she's going to stay. I am moving forward, and that is all that matters.